Hi, this is Kamal the Builder. Welcome again to one of our projects. Today we'll talk about drywall, and we'll take you to a couple projects at least and show you some details of drywall, what's happening with drywall. In this particular project, we'll start to take you from the time insulation was done, from the time rough plumbing, rough electrical, HVAC is finished, insulation on top of it, and then we are now installing drywall. We'll show you a few areas where we've installed drywall. We'll show you some details in the kitchen, some details in the study, some details in the master bedroom. We'll also take you to an attached ADU with this project and show you what's happening in the ADU. We'll also take you to the garage and describe something special about drywall in the garage. So these are the kind of things that we'll talk about in this project. So let's get started, show you one of the bathrooms and show you a couple types of insulation in the bathroom. So what we have done in this bathroom is spray foam insulation, and that happens after all the plumbing is done. Here is basically your valve for the shower. This goes to the shower, and then you can have a handheld shower here. This is a niche in the bathroom. So typically these are the elements you'll see in the bathroom: niches, shower valves. Shower valves there are two things that go in after framing, right after framing: shower valves and vent fans. These are the only two fixtures that go inside drywalls. Again, shower valves and vent fans. These are the only fixtures that go inside. All the other plumbing finishes and electrical finishes go outside the drywall. And then, as I mentioned in previous videos, we also like to build benches within our showers. We've shown you some showers in the past. There are two types of floors for showers. There are curbless showers and there are showers with curbs. This is a curbless shower, as you'll see here. And what will happen is we need to know before we start doing the subfloor plumbing whether our customer wants a curbless shower or not, because the plumbing or the drain for the shower is done accordingly. So let's talk about now drywall, because that's the subject of today's video. You see different types of drywall material here and here, because this one will get wet because the vanity is here, the toilet is here, so that's a different material, but this is the regular drywall. So what happens with drywall installation is, at this stage we're just installing drywall. You can see some insulation. That's the other type of insulation. Earlier I talked about two types of insulation. So this is the regular insulation that we get in most areas except bathrooms. And then the electrical work is done, plumbing is done, HVAC is done. So with drywall, what happens when drywall is installed, there's an inspection, and the inspector wants to see what's called the drywall screw schedule. Basically, the distance between adjacent screws is measured. All this is related to building codes, so all that stuff is measured. The inspector looks at it. He looks at how we join drywall and looks at these screws. And then what happens is, after this step, the drywall is taped and mudded, so then it's ready for sanding. And depending on the finishes of the drywall that you want, depending on what layer you want, what level finish you want, that's how many times we're going to mud it and sand it. We'll talk about it in a little bit. And here's the kitchen now. You can see some special drywall treatment in the ceiling of this kitchen. And the reason you see that is these are soffits. The soffits provide light. The soffits also provide speakers. They're built-in speakers in this kitchen, in the kitchen ceiling, in the soffits. So those are additional drywall details that we take into consideration. Let's look at that again. Now we are in the upstairs study. Here you see a space for a future TV mount. Flat screen TV with power connections and low voltage connections and cable and HDMI connections. That's where the TV will be mounted. The ceiling of the study has room for speakers, lights, and so on. So that's how we put in the details for drywall. Let's also look at some other areas. Because this study and theater room is right next to the bedroom, and there's a bathroom here as well. Because this area is right next to the bedroom, for sound insulation purposes, this is a layer of quiet rock, and quiet rock is placed wherever our customers want extra sound insulation. And sometimes what we can do is we can double the drywall that's in a certain area, or put quiet rock, or put extra insulation, or use 2x6 lumber, or use some rubber membranes inside to provide that extra sound insulation. So there are many ways of dealing with sound, and we'll talk about that in a different video. So here we are in the bedroom. In the master bedroom, the ceiling has again the soffit finishes for drywall. Also we have room for speakers and lights. All this is done beforehand. The wiring is all run beforehand so that you can easily put in the electrical finishes and the speakers and low voltage stuff after the house is finished. After the drywall is sanded completely and painted, we are ready to put in those finishes when the electrician comes back. Let's quickly go to the garage in the ADU and show you what's going on there. Now I'm standing outside the garage, and behind me will be the garage door. Let's walk into the garage. And this is the entrance door behind me where we entered the house. So what building codes specify is that this drywall, the drywall between the garage and the house, has to be a minimum of 5/8. That's what the building codes specify. They also specify that if we have lights, the regular can lights in the garage, and there's a living space above the garage, the lights have to be fire rated. So that also is an important consideration for garages. In this garage, there are fire sprinklers as we have them in the rest of the house. There are outlets for these lights. The blue outlets that you see, there are outlets for these lights, and the outlets are also considered fire rated, the plastic boxes or metal boxes, so that issue is dealt with in the garages. Let's quickly go to the ADU and show you what's happening in the ADU. Here is an ADU that's attached to the main house. You'll notice in the ceilings, there's no more of this fancy work that we've done in the kitchen and bedrooms and study of the main house. No fancy soffits, no fancy outlets for speakers, just mainly lights. So that's the ADU here. The important thing to know is where the ADU meets the main house. For example, behind me in this wall, where the ADU meets the main house, this is where quiet rock has been applied. So in case our customer wants to have renters here or other family members, there's good noise separation between the ADU and the main house. Here is the kitchen and living area of the ADU. And you see this wall behind me is still open because we still haven't installed the quiet rock here. It's sitting over here. But that's where the quiet rock will go, so that there's good sound insulation between the ADU and the main house. So in summary, we've shown you a couple of special treatments in the ceiling with drywall, how we make soffits, how we leave room for low voltage electrical or speakers in the ceilings. We've shown you what happens between the garage and the main house to deal with fire codes. We've shown you how drywall is treated in the bedroom also in this house, as well as quiet rock and where quiet rock is applied in order to suppress sound. Here I am, Kamal the Builder. We're ready for the drywall inspection. Now let's take you to another project where we have passed the drywall inspection, and now we are applying mud and tape to drywall. Let's discuss that at the next project. See you soon.